Hi, this video is to look at the library databases, just to get a general overview on questions we should ask that will help us in our searches. So the location we're going to be looking at is the San Juan College Library, and this is a screenshot of the home page or the landing page. I want to look at the different links that are going to get us there and how to find the ones we need. The great research questions the reference librarian gave us. These are great for helping us figure out what kind of search we're going to do. We are going to use the information we gain to either do a keyword search at the library or a general looking at phrases online search. So let's go look first at finding the right pages. So we want to find the home page, and then we want to know where to look for databases and journal articles and why those are different. So to get to our home page, we can do a search for, like, say, San Juan College and library. If we have a particular page saved, we may be able to access the library as well. But if we want to type it in, it's just sanjuancollege.edu/library. And we're going to get this main page with the quick and easy search bar right there. If we want to go for more in depth, we want to scroll down. So as you can see, the search bar is right there. I'll switch screens again to show you like the home page. Especially depending on the size of your browser window, should show you some of these items and should show you the library search bar. But we need to scroll down to get to databases. What these are subject or sort of concept specific. Subject, I think, is probably the best word there. But what these databases are going to do is they're going to access lots and lots of journals, lots and lots of things like newspapers, ebooks, like encyclopedias. They can access all kinds of different things depending on what kind of database it is. And they also can get hyper specific. So for instance, I know what journal areas I want to go look at, who holds those journals. But I want to look at like JSTOR for doing medieval searches. If I'm looking for medieval literature, articles on medieval literature. By going to JSTOR, I know that that's a database that's going to have access to numerous journals within my area. So it is great for sort of focusing in on a specific idea. I don't know what each database does, like they have little write-ups, but a good thing to do is to say, okay, I know I want to search in business or health. Go ask a librarian because they're going to know exactly what the like top 5 databases are going to be. The other thing to look at is just the journals and articles search in and of itself. You can go by publisher, subject. You can get some general searches as well. I typically go this direction if I have looked at Wikipedia, I've looked at different articles, and there is a reference to an article I would also like to read. Then I have that information. I know like what journal it's in. I know when it was printed. So I go to look at those journals and I say, okay, do we have access to this journal covering these dates? And so that can be a great secondary support as well. So now that we have an idea of what we might use the library database searches for, we want to look at how we get there in the first place. I loved the questions our reference librarian shared with us. Things like, I want to know whether, I need information on, I want to know about. These are great spaces to write like 2 to 5 sentences, whatever is sort of flowing for you. And then we can parse those short paragraphs, those short works. And remember, this isn't about spelling everything correctly or having complete thoughts and great perfect sentences. You're not writing a paragraph in that sense. You're writing a couple of sentences to help you bring in the question, bring it into focus of what you want to know about. And these are good starting points for it. So I decided to take I want to know about, and I thought about food insecurity. So that's where I started. I want to know about food insecurity in my community. How do we help families without transportation, get to food support systems? These are just the start of 2 questions that could turn into a paper. There are so many directions this could go. So if I were to do a library search, I would look for key phrases: food insecurity, transportation, community resources, and then I would start to play with what connections those have. So for instance, I use the word families. So I'm not looking, that gives me a little bit of direction, like if I want to look at families versus if I want to look at single people, so I get a little bit more there as well. If I'm doing a search online, I'm probably going to say something like food insecurity in my community. Notice that I have prepositions, I have pronouns, like I have all these extra words, and that is fine when we are doing a general search online. That's actually going to be helpful. But if I'm doing a search in the library databases or in databases, period, I'm probably going to want my keywords. So let's go look at the San Juan College Library. I'm going to grab that keyword of food insecurity. And when I do this search, it's going to look in the databases, it's going to look in journals, it's going to look in the main collection, it's going to look in special collections, it's going to look any and everywhere in the library. So it said, hey, we expanded this to include some related terms, but you can narrow it back down. And it says that I have about 253,000 results. So I have lots of options here. But when we start typing information in, notice that it said, oh, I'm looking in title. I could change that by looking at the advanced search, and I could look at it being a subject, it being a title, a keyword. There are also all sorts of great ideas over here. I like to start super ginormous. I want to get like every imaginable thing. And then I like to say, okay, what kind of stuff just came up? Like, is it local? Like this one is about the United Nations. So it may have some stuff from America, but also not. Like, so it looks like it's going more towards small import dependent countries, especially in Africa. So it's letting me know that, oh wait, you said food insecurity, but you didn't say New Mexico, you didn't say Farmington, you didn't say, so it's letting me see sort of where I could be lacking. And it's just giving me good ideas. Oh, regional, that's a great word. I might want to use regional for the Southwest. But each part, it helps me get sort of an idea. And then I like to come over here to the left side where all of our sort of limiters are. So I went big, I went wide, but I can then go in and say, well, I just want it to be accessible here at the main campus library. Oh, you know what? I just want articles. I want full text articles. I want to be able to instantly zippity zaps snag whatever is out there. I don't want to have to like try to find it or get a librarian to special order it for me. So I could click full text. I could also look at peer reviewed. That's going to push us more toward journals and more toward professional work versus general overviews. Peer reviewed, even though like an encyclopedia is peer reviewed and people like support each other in making sure they've done the best with those entries. When we're looking at peer reviewed, we're looking at highly specific topics. We're looking at the experts in those fields, and then they're randomizing the info about an article so that they give their free opinion of it without considering if they know or like or dislike that person. Also, we can look at time. I find that can be really dependent on your subject. So because I'm looking at food insecurity and in my community, I'm looking at now. So I might want the last 5 years. If I'm doing something like historical, I may want in the last 25 or 50 years because I'm getting different elements of information. So the other side to look at, if I just type in food insecurity into a search engine, I'm going to get some different organizations. I'm going to get some other ideas. I may not pick one of these, but looking at like causes, the definition, behaviors, these could help me as well. Those are great keywords that it's bringing up. For instance, why is it bringing up 4 types of food insecurity? That's an interesting point that it's bringing to our attention. And then, of course, it's going to have some things that we're more specific, like food insecurity through PubMed. So that's going to be journals and articles that will also be available in library databases. But it's also going to bring up, Reddit threads. So it's going to have a little bit of everything. And again, we're looking at the world as well. So Oxfam, it's looking at, that's typically in England, so places like that. And then also we have the World Bank, so that's looking at the world as a whole. So it gives me different ideas and different options, but mainly we want to have that chance to look at those broad ideas and then make sure we are copying and saving these links, because I don't know about y'all, but I forget where they are. So I tried to make a bookmark for them.